And I have some not so good news for my people who are fans of the NBC show called The Endgame, which I thought was a really great show. Marina Baccarin stars in it, as well as Ryan Michelle Bath, I believe is her name. There's a few other people that star at that show. And I'll tell you this right now. NBC is not getting positive feedback right now for this. What I will say, the end game, according to what most sources are saying, has been officially canceled. And this is ticking a lot of people off because I'm really not trying to spoil it for those of you who haven't seen it. It's available to watch on Hulu and Peacock. Let me just say this right here. Marina Baccarin, she plays Elena Fedorova, who is I guess you could say the show's main bad person. She's the criminal in there. She put her differences aside to team up with an FBI agent named Val Turner. And at some point during the story, she revealed her betrayal to the agent. And later on, at the end of the show, in the last episode, at the very end, Elena, she has her husband in a truck. The truck explodes while she's out of it, and he's back there in the truck. Supposedly gets caught in the explosion. There are still questions about whether or not he really died, or whether if there's an ulterior motive or something like that. So she calls the agent on the phone and says, "I need your help." The agent has just a blank stare on her face, and it just cuts to end credits. That was the final episode of that show. So right after that, there were some articles that said, okay, well, they're contemplating whether they're going to continue it. And then what do we see the next week? They cancel it. Deadline Hollywood posted on Twitter, said the Endgame is over. NBC has canceled the heist drama after one season. Excuse me, sorry. And I'll tell you right now, the reactions to this are not good. These are some very disappointing reactions to it. One person said, "NBC, why did you cancel Endgame? You haven't had a decent program since Seinfeld, and you finally get something worth watching and you cancel it. You guys wouldn't know a good show if you saw it. Enough of the music and dance shows. I don't want to see that." Okay, first of all, I think they've had plenty of good shows between Seinfeld and that, but I mean, okay, I guess an opinion. Another person said, "NBC, we want the Endgame to continue. How the hell can you cancel a well-written, viewer-loved program? Not to mention that you left it hanging. You left us hanging. Not the way to keep a loyal viewership." Here are some more reactions. One person said, "This is bull crap. A great show with Marina Baccarin being amazing as always. I wonder if the people who decide which shows to save have a brain." The end game, as another person said, the end game was hitting too close for comfort. Okay, I'm not even going to read that one. That's no. I'm sorry I even started to read that one. We're not even going to go there. That's a little controversial, a little divisive right there. One person said, "No, I really like that show. I agree." Another person said the same thing. "I actually like that show. Had too much of a Blacklist vibe. I can't really have an opinion on that. I didn't watch that one yet. Bummer, we really like the show." Everybody's saying the same thing. We like the show. We like the show. And so now the argument that a couple people made in regards to why the show got canceled is because they didn't get enough viewership. Now, looking on Wikipedia right here, the show had only one season, 10 episodes total. The first episode had 3.3 million viewers, approximately. Second, third, and fourth episodes had between 1.8 and 2.2 million. The rest of the next few had 1.8, 1.5, 1.5, 1.4, 1.7, 1.5. Wow. The final episode had 1.45. I don't know why it got less views as it progressed. Now, the argument that a couple people were telling me is saying that it got canceled because of the time slot. It premiered on Monday night on NBC at 10 p.m. Well, listen, I understand that for a number of people who might work a certain job, let's say if you're working a job that's like an early morning job or a regular 9 to 5, or even right before that, we're talking 8 to 4, 7 to 3, 6 to 2. Okay, I get it. Anybody who's working that type of job Monday through Friday, I mean, they're not gonna stay up that late just to watch TV. A lot of people won't do that. Not everybody is a night owl. However, there's these things called streaming services where if you are not able to watch a show during the time that it premieres, or if you, for those of you who may not have cable, or even some who do have cable, they post the episodes on the streaming services usually the next night, if not by the next week. And Hulu and Peacock, as we know that those two streaming services are connected to NBC, well, the episodes were premiering on there each week, so they premiered on there every Tuesday because they were posted every Tuesday because the show premiered on Monday nights. I would like to believe that that's not actually the reason they canceled it. Maybe that could be, but I just think that that's ridiculous. I see some of you joined in watching this. If you guys have seen the show, comment your thoughts on the show and comment your thoughts on the cancellation. Now, here's what my initial thought was. My thought was maybe, because some shows have done this before and others, is it possible that it's actually canceled? Is it possible that they are tricking us? I mean, it's kind of wishful thinking, but even if they don't continue it on, because I understand NBC and networks like that, they make the decision to cancel a show based on the viewership or based on other things. Well, to the writers of the show, Nicholas Wooten and Jake Coburn and a few others, well, here's what a lot of fans are saying. If they're not going to continue the show on NBC, try to continue it somewhere else. Stream it on Netflix, HBO Max, or even do like a movie, at least in response to what we saw in the finale. I mean, remember how they did The Sopranos? Remember they had the movie that was kind of like the prequel to how it all started? Well, I say they should do a movie about this very similarly, but instead it's a sequel to what we just saw. It would be absolutely ridiculous if they did a prequel, but they would have to do a sequel to as well. So I don't know what is gonna, I mean, that was just left us hanging in the air. There were way too many questions to be asked about that finale. Did Sergei really die in that explosion? Is it possible that Elena has some type of ulterior motive that Sergei or Val doesn't know about? Is there something that Sergei has going on that Elena doesn't know about? Or are they in some other plot together to find another way to screw over Val? Or is this actually, did he really die in that explosion and Elena is actually devastated? What happened to their daughter? What happened to the little girl? To those of you who watch the show, you know what I'm talking about. I'm sorry if I'm spoiling it too much for people who didn't see it, but I just wanted to get this out here because this doesn't make any sense that they would do this. They've canceled there are so many other shows that have, so many other shows that premiere at a time that, you have shows that have strange time slots, but they're successful. And so, I don't know. I may not understand enough about television networks, but I can tell you right now that was a pretty good show. And that was actually one of the few shows I did watch, like, as it premiered, like, with the series premiere. So, I see both Colleen and Debbie had joined. Good to see y'all. So, I really don't know what NBC was thinking on this one. Now, I am grateful that NBC continued a couple other shows that I enjoy, like the Law & Order series. They are continuing the original Law & Order, although Anthony Anderson is leaving that. So that's going to go for season 22. SVU, Special Victims Unit, is going on to season 24. Organized Crime is going on to season 3. And that was kind of crazy how they ended that too. So like I said, I digress a little bit with that, but I got to tell you right now, to NBC, many of us fans are disappointed that you just decided to up and cancel this while it was in the middle of a great story. It just doesn't end like that. I could see one episode ending that way, and then the next episode is a continuation, and it explains what happened, and it answers all the questions. Or even if it was a movie that ended that way, and then you're just waiting for the sequel. Oh, we're in 2022, and this is how this movie ends. The sequel's supposed to come out in 2024, maybe 25. A lot of movies do that, a lot of shows do that, but for some reason, they just decided to end this one like this. So that's pretty much all I have to say about that. And to anybody who decides to watch the show, although you'll be disappointed if you see, again, I'm trying not to spoil it too much, but to those of you that are interested in watching the show, it's available to watch on Hulu and Peacock. It's called The Endgame. Marina Baccarin stars in it, and I think it's a really great show. I thought it was a really great show. NBC's decision to cancel it, I thought, was a pretty crappy move. So let's see if they either change their minds or if Nicholas Wooten and Jake Coburn, the show's creators, let's see if they continue it somewhere else. So that's what I want to say to the fans.